Good morning. Good morning. Come on, y'all. Come in. Y'all, this is week 3. Y'all know 3 is my favorite number, so I feel like this week is going to be real special. Good morning. So today, y'all, we're going to be talking this week all about finances. And finances not in the prosperity message type of way. I mean, not to say that it's not going to incorporate some of that, but more so to, let's see, one second. Let me get them in here. Oh, wow. Let me do this first. Man, I swear this thing do not be working right. Oh, there we go. Okay. So you in there.
Hey y'all, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Oh, here. Okay. Good morning, y'all. Good
Good
morning,
morning,
everybody.
everybody. Live from the car.
Live from the car. The car. Like, I remember when the
That's some real Detroit. That's some real Detroit history, right? Nobody gonna get that.
right. So okay, guys. So we about to roll with this morning. We have a great guest on. She is like really good as it pertains to money when it comes to saving, putting budgets in place. Um, yeah, like this right here. I think we need this because we in a space, right? Um, to where everybody wants more. Everybody wants more. We pray for more. We need more money. Like, what's your problem? Sis, I don't got enough money. People look at people with money like, oh, they don't have problems because they have money. But it's like the thing is that money is a tool, and I think so many of us abuse or misuse the tool, right? We start to worship the tool. We start to idolize the tool. We start to, like, even if we blessed with the tool, at the end of the day, I don't think that we try to ask ourselves, why did God give us so much tool? Like, why did God give us so much money? Why is he not giving us enough money? Or when he does finally come through and we have breakthroughs and he does come through, right? It's like, what are we doing with it? Are we doing our best? Are we doing our due diligence? Are we saving in the right areas? Are we spending in the right areas? Or what are we doing? How can we increase? Are we, just like swimming in debt? You get what I'm saying? And then it's like, why are we doing that? And so the lady that we're bringing on today, she is a single mom who has been really sharing her story on how she has, with one income, paid off debt, saving money, and doing things to make sure that she's financially free to be able to do more things. And so I'm super excited for what she has to share with us today. And pretty much how this live is going to go. Hold up one second. Let's see. How this is going to go is that she's going to tell us her testimony. She's going to tell us how she got started. Hey there.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing? I was just talking about you.
I know I'm about to do my preacher shout because you're preaching this morning.
Girl, but no, seriously. And so, I mean, I really want her to be able to share what has she done. Tell us a little bit about her background, her when she was, maybe written in debt, what she was doing and how she came out of it and now where she is today. And I want us to be able to take her advice, her wisdom, and be able to apply it to our lives so we can be in a better financial predicament, so we can be able to save more, so we can be able to provide for our family, so we won't always feel like money is our issue, because we may be able to identify once we get to that place that that's not our issue. We have other issues that we need to kind of work through ourselves. We got the money one checked off, so yes, I'm just about to shut up and let you do your thing, girl.
Yes. So quick intro about me. My name is Diana, and I stumbled into Money Boss Mama because when I started trying to pay off debt, I didn't see anyone that looked like me. I didn't see anyone that was single income, Black, young mom. And so a lot of the tips I could not, use, and it got frustrating. And so me and good old Google, we went hand in hand. And as I'm learning, I'm like, okay, I've got to put this out because I know it's somebody else out here that needs this. But I started my debt-free journey in September of 2016. And the thing that really propelled that journey is because I literally felt like my life, it had to be, God had to have something better for me than this. Like me not being able to afford my child, me not being able to afford myself. I realized that I was, recreating a pattern that I had been in with my mom, who was also a single mom. And so I'm thinking, the journey, it has to be better than this. Both reality is hard, my vision is hard, but my vision has the potential to change my life, right? And so I figured if I just stay consistent with it, then something's going to happen. And at that time, I was making $15 an hour, so $32,000 a year. And I had nearly $35,000 in debt. And then I got pregnant with my second born, like nearly about 2 months into the decision. And so I'm like, okay, is this a sign that this shouldn't work? But honestly, my kids gave me, that motivation to continue to go forward, because we always say we want more, for our children. And so the way that I got to debt freedom, I literally used everything in my life I saw as an opportunity. Because when you're dead set on your vision, you're not going to sit here and see excuses. You're going to see opportunities in your day-to-day that you would not have picked up on before, because you're so dead set on getting to this vision. So it started with an extra $10, extra $20. I'm like, well, if I continue to make extra $10 or $20, something's going to happen. And as every debt started decreasing, what I didn't realize is that I was giving myself a raise. Like, I'm able to work more money into the budget. And so I started that snowball effect. And after 4 years, I was able to completely pay off debt. And then that allowed me to start saving and investing for my family.
Wow, that is awesome. I mean, that's an awesome testimony. I mean, and when you said that you were able to see opportunities, are you
Mhm.
saying that you saw opportunities in saving? Are you like investing, or where were those opportunities? Where did they lie?
Yes. So, when you have a goal and you're trying to figure out how to get there, you start seeing things that you wouldn't have seen before. So like an opportunity for me, I saw tax refunds as an opportunity. I'm like, what can I do? What do I have at my fingertips that I can use to help me accelerate this journey? Because my little old income is not going to cut it. And so when I got tax refunds, I saw that as an opportunity. I would have to use it in the beginning to pay up bills, but that allowed me to pay extra towards my debt. And I also saw like my PTO. My company allows us to sell back our PTO. So I would hoard PTO, and I saw that as an opportunity. I'm like, okay, well, if I could, sell 10, 20 hours whenever I got that racked up, then I could use that as a chunk to pay off debt as well. And then side hustling. I did have to start a side hustle, which is like a little mini job on the side. But I'm like, what can I do? What do I have at my fingertips already that I can use to help me make extra payments towards this debt?
One thing I love about your story is it wasn't like an overnight success, right? I think all of us really want like, okay, but in 1 year, I want to be at this place. I want it all to be gone. But I love that patience, perseverance, and time and discipline is what really helped you, stay on track and get it paid over which I think you said a 4 year period.
Mm.
I think that's encouraging for a lot of people on this call, because it's like, okay, sis, it doesn't have to happen overnight. Like it can take some time, and that teaches you some patience so that I'm never getting this situation again. Like I have to grind to get up at
Yeah.
I'm never doing this again. Love
You
it.
feel that sting. And a lot of us feel like our little $10, $20 payments aren't enough. And oddly enough, I get a lot of those women that come to me and they're like, well, I'm not able to pay hundreds of dollars in debt. So I quit, because what's the point? And I did the same thing as well. But I tell them, like, if your journey takes longer than others, that means you're going to have more skills when you come out of it, because you have more time to learn and to learn yourself and to tweak your strategy. Like, you need this time period so that what not to do and what to do going forward, so you don't wind up in that same situation, you know?
That's good.
And I can actually say I feel like that even in my personal life, right,
Mm,
where I have a finance degree, right, so you can know everything to do, but when you don't apply these things,
mm,
like it's that application plus the consistency, right? You can know all the right things, but I think that we get so caught up in like our lifestyles or just being attached to certain things that we just want to do. It's like, I don't want to take my tax refund and pay off debt. I want to go and buy a new bag because it's Christmas time. It's like, I think that it's a lot of those. I think it's making those decisions,
mm,
those hard, responsible decisions
Mhm.
on where you really want to be, where you really want to see yourself. And I honestly think that it's that responsibility that once you can kind of get in that place of being more responsible, you will get more, because you can say, for instance, you're not willing to make responsible decisions, but you're like, I just want more money. I just want more money.
yeah.
All you're going to do is just create a deeper hole for yourself because you're not responsible to know what to do with it. So I think that it's important to go through a period of about 4 years to get your financial situation in order so you can be able to know what to do when that money starts to come in, the flow, like the overflow starts to come in. It's like, you know exactly where to allocate it, what to do with it. You're not so, oh, it's right in my
Yeah.
hands. Like you know what to do with it. So
And the Bible talks about this, like those that God can trust with little, he can trust with much. So if he
yes,
can trust you with your $10, $20, $15 an hour job, it's like, okay, over time, I will bless you. And in Second Chronicles, when Solomon is the richest king of all time and he's praying to lead people well and to be wise, God is like, okay, I can trust you with wisdom. Therefore, I'm gonna bless you with more. I'm gonna bless you
Mm,
with more wealth than anybody has ever had. And so I think when God knows he can trust us with our little bit, he will give us so much more in due time when we can
and do
store
time.
it well. So that's such a great example. I have a question for you too. What were you able to do in the meantime? Because one thing people think is that they can't have any fun, they have
mm.
to give up everything. What did you do that was fun throughout this time and that you could do with your children that still allowed you guys to have a good life without completely cutting out everything?
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, that's why they turn their noses up when you say budget, because they're like, I'm not getting on no budget. I'm not giving up XYZ, because they don't realize that this is your spending plan. You can put it in there. It's unique to you. So when the first couple of years, I will say, I was so determined to get to my vision that I did not do a lot. But one thing that I did do that goes against the grain a little bit in the personal finance community is that I kept my coffee habit. Like I was at Starbucks faithfully daily, sometimes twice a day, because that was my little bit of joy. When you're on this journey, you're not on the journey to improve your finances. You're in a battle with yourself for a very long time.
Ooh,
You have to
ooh,
fight your previous self so that you can get to the vision. And that's going to take you separating yourself from who you once were. So I had to
ooh,
strip myself down of everything that I used to hide behind: the hair, the wigs, the clothes, the lashes, all of that. All of that had to go. And I had gotten into this place where I thought that I had to constantly elevate my lifestyle. So I wanted the best apartments, I wanted the best cars, and what I realized is that I really wasn't feeling confident financially. So I thought I had to dress up. I thought I had to dress up my situation, because as long
mm,
as you thought I was good, with the mess that I had behind doors, I didn't really, I can handle that on my own time. And so for me, I was all in it. Whenever I got a year down, I was all in it. I stripped myself of everything. I wasn't really doing much, but that was my joy. You know,
mm.
that was my joy. Seeing that I
Yeah.
could do it and proving to myself that I can do it for once, I could stay consistent with something.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
was my joy. But I still kept my coffee. My girls on my page know sis is going to go to Starbucks still, because that was the little bit of joy that I gave myself in my day to day. But, as the debt started dwindling the last 2 years, me and my kids, we got fun money. So whatever it is that we want to go out and do, we like to eat. So we're going to go eat sushi, whatever it is. We have designated eat out days. That was something that kept me and my kids motivated on the journey.
Ooh,
That's
so good.
awesome. That's awesome, y'all. Put y'all questions in the. I don't know how y'all do it on y'all side, but it looked like a little bubble and a question mark on my side. So push that button, I think, and put your questions in there because I know y'all have questions for her.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can just start asking them. But I think, y'all, why does this happen? It's like a frog be trying to get in my throat every morning. Like, shut up, hush it, hush it, hush it. That's how I be feeling because it be so hard to put certain stuff out. But when you said that you're fighting against yourself, separating yourself, the vision that you have for yourself from the person that you were, like that right there, I think so many of us can be able to just attest that somewhere along the line we fall victim to that, like where we're constantly trying to show and prove to others. You know what I'm saying? And especially having this device, like I'm not a person that, like, I hear a lot of people say, I hate Instagram. I just hate it. Everybody on there just fake, whatever. Like Instagram, that is a mindset that you can view on it, right? Like it could, that could be a thing, but that's not necessarily what Instagram is designed for. It's not designed for you to look at it and feel like your life is what's another word? Because I was about to say the SHITTY. I'm trying to find better words, brought in my vocabulary, guys. But we would be looking at it and like feeling bad about our lives because how we see other people, instead of allowing it to be motivation, instead of looking at it and being like, you know what, I think this is beautiful. Like my eyes haven't seen yet, so this is dope. My eyes been seen. I know I could put that on the bucket list when I create my budget. Fun places to go to, I could go to this place, right? But we tend to, instead of letting that be a motivation or inspiration, we feel bad about our situations and want to pretty our situations up on the exterior. And I think that that's a lot of what we fight with that makes it a struggle to try to put a budget or stick to something in place, because it's like we want to show up like I got money too. Yeah. I'm living good too. Shoot, I can go to Bali. That don't matter. Like I could drop a $3,500. Now when I come back, I still got a whole lot of bills to pay. We're gonna deal with that later, but I'm living good too. And I think that is something that we're constantly in battle with, which is ourselves and just how we show up, and especially as it pertains to others. How did you? At what point? What helped you to like snap you out of that? Like what helped you to kind of defeat your mindset as it pertains to that?
So I like to tell people managing your money, it's all a mindset game. Most of it is behavior based. Like you don't have to know everything to be good with money. If you can master your mind, you can master your money. So with me, I had to go inward in the beginning of my journey. And I always tell my clients, you got to fix this before you see it play out in your finances, because however you view yourself, however your upbringing and adolescence, childhood, adolescence plays a huge role, that's going to play out in your relationship with money. And so I had to go back, trip down memory lane to my childhood and adolescence, to those parts that were really hard to face, to pick up on patterns that I was repeating in my relationship with money. And I found that my beliefs about money weren't even my own. So I'm carrying someone else's beliefs and I'm managing my money in a way that aligns with someone else because I didn't do the internal work to undo those things. So I got this goal, this vision, and I've got these habits, and they're clashing. They're not aligning. And you'll never get to the place you want to be financially until you go back and undo those things. And so for me, it was about the trip down memory lane. And also I had to keep visuals to keep reminding myself of what I am doing. Because like you said, you get on Instagram, you're going to start seeing everyone's highlight reels, right? And then when it comes to your finances, a lot of us feel behind. A lot of us feel shame. A lot of us feel fear. And so that amplifies it. And sometimes we are following people that are not doing us any any justice when it comes to our goals. I call it the Cardi B effect. We're following a lot of Cardi B's, but we don't have that Cardi B budget. But your environment plays a role in how you manage your money. So social media is an environment. A lot of us are on social media more than we are in the real world, You're going to start adopting those behaviors, and it's unconscious. So I was very intentional about who I followed in the beginning. When I first made my Instagram, I was only in the personal finance community. I only followed those who had like debt free in their name. And then that was my everyday environment most of the time. And so that kept me motivated. Who is keeping me motivated? Who is aligning with my values? Who is doing what I want to do? And a lot of times when we feel envy, that person's got something or they're doing something that we really want to do. We need to learn from them instead of looking like, the side eye, she ain't out,
Yeah.
No, I'm like, I developed this mindset of what are they doing that I could apply to my strategy? What can I do? I would message people, to try to get some help, or to collaborate in some type of way. And so be very intentional about who you allow in your space, about who you allow on your journey, and make sure that your environment is nurturing your goal. The community on Instagram played a huge role in getting me to debt freedom.
Yes. You know what? I'm glad you just said that, because just to piggyback off of that, I think a good thing, if you're in this space where you're like, okay, I want to challenge myself to make some decisions, let's say in the short term goal, like 3 months, right? I would say start a new Instagram, right? Because I think it's kind of like you're not about to want to unfollow all of these people, whatever. Like you may not want to do that. So maybe it'll be a good idea to start a new one and follow people intentionally that's going to help you to defeat this person. Because this is what this is about. You want to defeat the person that has created all of these mindset, these values, these visuals that you have in your mind of what money looks like, what wealth looks like, what debt freedom looks like, whatever. And you're following all of these, like you said, the girls that got it all, the men, like the lifestyle, like just, oh my God, like you just love it, right? When you're consuming so much of that, it's very conflicting to where you're trying to go. So like maybe consider just starting one and follow people like the Money Boss Mama. Like follow people that's like, I would even ask you, what are some other people that you think help you? Because you said like you didn't see a lot of people who looked like you, right? So I guess that would be like, everybody always goes to Dave Ramsey, but it's always conflict in what his messaging is, because it doesn't apply to the average Black household. And they're gonna let you be like, like a single parent household, and then it just dwindles down. It's hard to follow these things. So follow people intentionally that could really help you get in a better position. That's what I think could be a good idea.
I love that you're addressing the psychology behind the decisions that we make, and really going back to the root of why we make these decisions and our unhealthy mental patterns, and doing the same thing our parents did, or going down the same journey. Because honestly, in our community, the Black community, it is very hard to we just don't have a strong foundation in finances, a lot of us, right? Even if you come from a middle class household, it was still, for me, it was just still not, financial lessons were not taught. And so it is hard to gain that as an adult when you have bad habits. And so going back all the way to the beginning and really retraining yourself in your mental capacity and understanding your psychology behind money. And I just want to keep up with the Joneses, and I just want to know, have this or that newest thing, or I don't want to be left behind, so I got to make sure I'm keeping up with what everybody else has going on. Girl, that psychology. Whoa,
it is. Who are we talking to like last week or something? Because it always comes up. Like it was somebody else that was like, we got to go back in our childhood. Was that when we were talking about grief?
Yes.
And I say that because it seems like whenever, like I'm a big advocate for therapy, and it seems like all of the work that we have to do within ourselves when we're trying to like work on ourselves, it always go to like childhood, like go back into childhood, revisit your childhood, which that tells me that is a very important period of life, right? And I take it so seriously because now I'm raising children, right? So if they talk to somebody 20 years from now, they be like, go in your childhood. I want them to be able to see very good representations of me and like, oh, my mother representing certain things, or, you know, like, not to say they're going to be trauma free, because I don't think that none of us was designed, you know, to live a trauma free life or a struggle free life at some capacity. But I really want to be a good example in a lot of different areas. So when they do have to do those exercises, that I feel like, I done taught you about some money, you know, like that I taught you things that you can be able to connect the dots, and then it be like, oh, you know, like it comes together a little bit more, and not so much of you're fighting against the bad things that I taught you as a child, you know. So I think that that's very, very important as we do go back and revisit. But now that we're at the point where we're establishing the tone for others, our children, you know, like that we're doing a very responsible job with that. It is a question that's here too. I'm just gonna read it. Someone said, I'm tired of spending money to pay off debt. What is your motivation?
Okay, I think the problem is the perspective here. That's what jumped out to me. I'm tired of spending money to pay off debt. So if you view paying off debt as me having to give money and I'm not getting anything in return, you're not going to want to do it, because there's your motivation right there. You're paying off debt to give money back to yourself, to unleash yourself from the chains of lenders so that you can keep more of your money, so that you can have the freedom to do X, Y, Z. So one thing that I always recommend doing, what is your goal? What is your main goal? If it's just as broad as paying off debt, that's not going to cut it. You have to be super, super specific and break it down so that it's not so overwhelming. It could be, my main goal right now is to pay $10,000 in student loan debt. And what is your reason for that? Align your goal with your values so that it resonates with you and it motivates you to continue to go forward. What is your reason for paying off debt? Is it to have the freedom to, you know, pursue other interests or passion? Is it so you have more time to spend with your kids? Is it to go to Bali, you know, to take those vacations? What is your reason for paying off debt? You need your why, and then you backtrack that why to create your goals, and then you make your visuals. So a lot of times it's easy to keep shelling out money and feeling like you're not making progress. I always recommend keeping track of your debt payoff progress, either in a spreadsheet. If you want to make, there's free color charts online so that you can actually see, you know, yourself making progress where you started, and then compare that to where you are right now. And I found that that really helps to keep me motivated. I had a debt-free board. It was addicting to move those numbers around every single time I made a payment, and that kept me going my last 2 years of the journey, because you do get into this maintenance mode where it's like nothing exciting is happening, but you just have to maintain that consistency.
I want to add to that too. I think, like, you know, it's like I'm getting tired of paying off debt. But I think also in changing that perspective, like, I'm getting tired of spending money on things I can't afford, because that's how we ultimately got into debt. Now, sis, I ain't trying to take a jab at you or nothing like that, because I mean, obviously, whatever it was that you were doing, like, you know, this was the best way that you could afford it at the time. Yeah. But I think with that mental perspective shift, you know, like, it's like you're paying for the good time you had in the past. It's not in real time, because you done already went to Six Flags, you done already, you know, bought the things that you needed to do with that money, whatever it was. And there's no shame in whatever it was. Like she said, you know, being able to find or create a budget or create your financial situation as unique to you, how you spend, how you live, right? But it has to come with some tweaking. And when we pay those things, if we have it's like a, what you call it, like, you just don't want to do it because you're like, I don't want to do this. I'm getting tired of paying these people. Yeah. It's like, at the end of the day, you don't want to have fun with the money. Like, you're like, whatever went down. So it's like, go ahead and get it out. Like, become financially free. Don't have that looming over your head, so it can free up more, right? You can get in debt if you're sick or helping family. And you can do that too. Like, you can definitely get in debt for that. Yeah. But if it's like, also, if you're going to allow yourself to get into debt, allow yourself a plan to get out of it. You know, if you're going to help somebody. And I think that you should help. Like, I always say this. If you come to me and say, can I borrow $1,000? You best believe. Now, listen, What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first ask myself, if they don't give me back this $1,000, can I still be their friend, their family? Would I look at them crazy?
Mm-hmm.
If I can do it and they don't give it back to me and I be okay, then cool, I'm gonna give it to you. But what I am gonna do, don't think like, okay, that's free and clear, right? You know, like she ain't gonna be mad. The thing is that now I'm gonna look at you, your character, everything. If you don't give me, if you don't follow your word, if you don't do what you asked me, you said, can I borrow for 3 months, and you never bring it back up. Then when I ask you, I'm not gonna ask you. That's what I'm not gonna do. But if I were to ask you, get an attitude like, bro, I'm gonna give you back your money. At this point, I'm just assessing your character. So you best believe the next time you ask me for $1,000, it's gonna be absolutely no. If you don't get your ASS and run the F away from me real quick, nah. But no, but it's like I'm gonna do it if I can do it. I'm only gonna do what I can do, right? And then, like I said, if you don't honor your word, that's going to be if I'll ever do it again. You know, so I would say don't put yourself in debt for other people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna be mad at them. That's gonna burn some bridges. If you're in debt because you helped somebody, that you gotta assess that. Don't be putting cards in your name. You know what I'm saying? And you can put yourself or your family in a disposition. If you can do it, if they don't pay you can pay it off, then cool, do that. But don't put. I don't believe in that. You know what I'm saying? Only do what you can realistically do. That's what I would say. You know. Yeah. Let's see. What's a good way? What's a good way? Oh my God, this is kind of a good one because it's like, hold on. It says, what's a good way to get rid of debt without getting in debt?
So the main way of getting rid of debt without getting in debt is just to use what you have right now. A lot of times people don't have a working budget when they start, so you don't truly know how much you can apply to these debts. So we get into this cycle of where we're looking at the debt, it's causing anxiety. We want to make a payment to kind of self-soothe that negative feeling that we have. And so we make a payment, like with credit card debt, and then turn around and realize that we paid too much. So now we got to swipe the card again because we put a payment on there that we really could not afford. So I always say make a spending plan. I don't like to call it a budget because you know how people like to run from the word budget. So make a spending plan, list out all of your expenses for the month and your income, and then see what you have remaining. Start with all of your essentials first. That's the bills. What do you need to survive and live a comfortable, healthy life? Bills, utility, groceries, gas, all of that. Add in your essentials first, and then add in your savings. If you have it, go into an emergency fund or regular savings. And I always say to add those two things first because that forces you to work your non-essentials or your personal spending into what you have left. And you may find that you're going to need to tweak some things to get some extra, to get some extra money in. And so based on what you have left, that's what you have, I call your golden gap. You maximize that because you're sending that as debt payments or extra debt payments. And that's a good way to get yourself out of debt. That's the basic way to get yourself out of debt without going into debt or having to, use the credit card hacks or things like that.
I saw somebody in the comments that said learn to leverage credit, right? And I think that this is like the fundamentals. I think like what she said back to the beginning when she said, that creating, like getting out of debt, right? It's like, I want you to say it again because I keep paraphrasing it, but you were basically saying it's like you have to fight your old self, basically, right? So I think that that's like first thing first. Like, yes. It's like a whole lot of mind shift changes, fighting your old self, creating good habits, new good habits. I think before you can even learn to leverage credit, it's like you got to get this down packed, right? Before you can even be able to start to leverage credit. Because I know a lot of people, I think that's like probably like you trying to go from finance 101 or the prereq. Yeah. We at the prereq right now, trying to go straight to like finance 401, like what you'll be doing in your senior year in college or something. It's like you can't skip the steps. Like you gotta do. I think that's for a more experienced person that understands finance and money and how they work together, how to leverage it. Like that's a whole nother separate something. I think that it's ways to do it, you know what I'm saying? But I think first thing first, a lot of people have to, it's a mind change and shift that needs to occur before even being ready for something like that. Let's see. For some reason, these questions are saying unable to, do y'all see it? So it's a question in here. For some reason, it won't pop up on the screen, but it says, What budgeting app or tools do you use?
So for me, I was not a budgeting app type of person because I felt like with automation or things like that, I had to be more
Out of
manual.
sight, out of mind.
I had to be more hands-on because then I felt like disconnected from it in a way. And so like I'm just letting someone else handle it. But some budgeting apps that are really good is Every Dollar. I have some clients that use Every Dollar. You Need a Budget is very, very popular as well. And there is an app called Personal Capital. I use Personal Capital because it allows you to attach all of your bank accounts, even like your 401k. So your complete financial picture is all under one login. And there's a free version for Personal Capital too, and you can track your net worth. So I like that to use for my net worth. But the main thing that I was pen and paper type of person for a very long time. I just had my budget in a printed out piece of paper that I would write down. Now I use a Google Sheet spreadsheet that I created. But it's going to depend on what type of budgeter you are. Are you visual? Do you like the apps? Do you need pen and paper? Are you a spreadsheet type of person? Like going back to behavior, you have to make your strategy or your plan or what you're doing align with how you naturally behave and what you are interested in.
For sure.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
Oh, okay. So I was just thinking about like ways. I saw some people in there saying that like you have to cut back on like shop. Somebody in the Can you all see the questions? Somebody said you have to see what you can go without, like buying clothes and shoes. And this spoke to me dead on, because when I was trying to become a better steward of my finances, that's what I called it. I love shopping. That's my jam. Like me and shopping, we are like BFFFFFs. And I started going to the thrift store. And I started loving the fact that I could find things that were $2 to $3, or I could post. I got this outfit for $10, and people be like, "What thrift stores are you going to?" And I'm like, "I'm going to all of them. There's no specific way of." So when you were talking about like finding different things to do with your children while you could start paying off your debt, you do have to find creative ways to not necessarily live a boring life, or snoring a boring life, as I call it, but to just get creative in certain things. You have to get creative with shopping. You have to get creative with, I go to a store called Randazzle now, so I can't go to Whole Foods and get everything. I need to go to Randazzle, go to the fruit and veggie market, and go here. It may take like 2 or 3 trips, but I'm saving so much money. Not 2 or 3 trips, but I may have to like map out things better. And for me, another thing was being more prepared. I can't say that I want to cut back on spending money when I don't have a plan. Like okay, so I'm going to work. I shouldn't be making stops going here and going there. I should have everything mapped out accordingly, so then I can save on gas, so then I can save on my time, so then I can be able to properly prepare lunches and things like that. So being prepared in like other areas in your life that you don't think about that are related to money is essential too. That's what helped me. Just being prepared. Like I'm not gonna stop shopping. It's never not gonna happen.
Just like she ain't gonna stop at that coffee either.
Yeah, like she wasn't gonna stop with the coffee. But it was something. I need to go to the thrift store. I need to catch everything on sale. I need to catch everything on clearance. And I didn't miss a beat. I was fresh. I was still fresh. Like nobody could, I didn't miss a beat. Even was trying to cut back on. I be fly, y'all. I don't be fly in the mornings, but I be fly. Check my Instagram resume.
Check my Instagram resume. You heard it. You heard it. But I just think that's I went through the same thing of seeing that I'm a hairstylist, and a lot of my friends were doing things that I couldn't. And I had to really think, like, we do the same thing. We charge the same amount. Why isn't my money showing up like theirs? So when I started really cutting back and started getting organized in my finances, I started seeing a huge difference. But like my mother always taught me, it was an opportunity cost. You forego one thing to do something else. So I had to forego. I can't be at Zara paying full price this month. I need to be at the thrift store.
I need to be catching the stuff on sale. You know what I mean? We can't go out to eat. You know what I'm saying? We got to do free stuff. Go find stuff to do downtown Detroit, you know, a campus market or stuff like that until we could be able to afford to take vacation. So that's just my own personal testimony of how I became a better steward of my finances.
That's good, Carrie.
Y'all, it's a couple. I want to just piggy or just jump in too when it comes down to the preparation. I'm gonna tell you, when I was in college, right? Because I told y'all like I was a finance major, and I created very good habits when I was in college, y'all. I was probably more responsible with little than when I got much. It was just like, oh, it don't matter, and it like I just wasn't as responsible, and that's real talk because I was just like, oh, we good, right? But what I used to have to do is take out, like, I would be in college, I would go to my what do you call it, my internship, and then my internship I'd take about an hour, like throughout that time of working, I would take a consecutive about hour to go through all of my bills. Like I would write down everything. I had to spend time with it, right? I would have to look at the dates. I would pay my bills twice a month or whatever. I get paid. Every time I get paid, I'm gonna take portions of it and pay off a bill, and the other time I'm gonna do it. And I was balancing, like I was being able to pay all of myself, take care of myself, you know, before I even had Adolph to come into my life and do anything extra or more, right? But I did see when I got with him or whatever, one of the things that I ended up doing was I didn't spend that time. Like I would just pay stuff. Like it was just blindly just doing stuff. And I recognized so clearly the difference of you have to sit down. Like you cannot, like you'll be so frivolous because like the thing is when you have more, you don't be thinking about like, it just be like, it's nothing. You don't even be like, for so long people like, was it expensive? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, not because I don't like, it's just so oblivion. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not paying attention. I'm not sitting down. I'm not being intentional. I'm just spending and paying and doing and just going and whatever. But that is something that I feel like knowing better and have done better in the past, I know that that's not what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like one of them type of things we have to, I don't care if you have a lot or a little, you have to take that time to sit down and you pay attention to your focus, your finances. You can't give it off to your accountant. You can't give it out to whoever. You can't shift that responsibility off to nobody. It got to be you and your finances having some QT time or whatever, because at the end of the day, you will get so just out of tune and out of touch with your reality as it pertains to your financial life. You're not going to be prepared. And if anything happens, you know what I'm saying, that like a bump in the road or anything, you're going to be like, wait, what happened? And now you have all nothing but bad habits and all of that type of stuff. So I think the practice of preparation and making good habits and planning, getting your hands into it, you know, like me, like you said, using apps and stuff. I love apps. But when it comes down to money and even spreadsheets, I love spreadsheets, but I'm still at that point where it's just that pen and that paper and like literally getting physical copy bills in my hand for some reason. I get real old school. And I think I was watching Carl Winslow when I was going back to my past. I used to watch TV.
No, Uncle Carl.
Girl, Uncle Carl Winslow. I used to be like that. He always got his little checkbook out. Like, am I supposed to be doing that? And I swear, if you ask me, going back to my childhood, that's what I remember seeing. Like, that's so crazy. Like, they take their checkbook out and have all their bills. So it's something that has left an impression in my mind that that's what I do. Hey, man. She a mommy out too, y'all.
Yeah, to get up.
Listen, I embrace that, okay? Because that's a mommy over there. But so that's my little 2 cent and a little change, jangle over there. I want to take this last question and we're going to go ahead. We're not going to take up too much time, but this one right here, someone asked, how do you stay motivated as a stay-at-home mom in a toxic relationship and trying to come up with ways to make an income from home to get out of the situation that you're currently
in? That's a good one. And a lot of people don't. I even didn't realize it until I started this page, and I'm getting so many messages and emails from women who are stuck in situations that they don't want to be in, all because of money. They can't leave. I would say the number one thing that you need to do to keep yourself motivated is continue to improve your self-worth. Like I say that because for the majority of my journey, I was in a relationship that was not serving me, and it made it extremely hard. My debt-free journey extremely hard because it's like I'm taking care of my kids and I'm taking care of him at the same time. And I always say the way that you're going to know your self-worth by what you allow and what you accept. Even if you say that, you know, oh, my self-esteem is high, people are going to be able to tell how you feel about yourself by what you accept. So I would say, number one, continue to know that you're worthy and that your worth is the way that God sees you should be how you should be viewing yourself, so that you don't stop the journey, so that you don't just go back to your old habits and just throw your hands up and say, well, this is going to be the way that my life is for, you know, for the rest of my life. And when it comes to trying to find jobs online, one thing that I did was, I'm like, well, what skills do I have that I can monetize? So I made a list of 3 of my skills, and then under each skill, I wrote down how I could possibly monetize it. Writing is something that I was always very good at. So I'm like, okay, well, how could I monetize this? This is the perfect time to go on Google. We have the World Wide Web at our fingertips. And so I learned about freelance writing. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, people will often ask me for help with their writing. So why couldn't I just market myself online? So I made a little portfolio. I put up like what I was doing in college as, you know, my work samples, because I really didn't have a work sample. And I had a little blog that I was doing at the time. And then I would start getting clients. It wasn't high paying clients, you know, but the more that I showed them, you know, my skills, that the more they're going to come back to you if you do a good job. And so I was able to make a pretty good income with that. But I would say just list out your skills, see what it is that you can do with those skills. We live in a time now where everything is online, everything is remote. There are literally limitless opportunities that are at your fingertips. And also, when it comes to your toxic relationship, know that you are worthy of more, you're worthy of better, so that you continue to go forward, and that pushes you to make sure that you get your finances in order so you can leave what's not serving you.
Yes. Ah, y'all listen. See, this is my jam right here, y'all. This right here, this conversation is my ministry, because I it's not that I know it all. I love having people who are even more experienced or have a different set of experiences to lend to the conversation, because it's so important. And I think that we said a couple of different things. It really comes with mindset.
Mm.
Like we have to shift our mindset. Like this whole, this July prayer challenge is called Mindset Makeover. Like that was I want to make over minds, right? And the reason we're doing that is because so many things that while we're doing what we're doing as it pertains to our finances, to our faith, to our personal lives and everything, it starts with our mindset. It's going to take a shift in our mindset before we start to get better in other areas and it to manifest throughout our lives. And so, self-worth being a thing. You said a couple of things like, understanding your values. Like you had talked about, like in terms of making plans, you got to understand your values and your goals. You have to really do a lot of intentional inner work to understand what is it that you desire. You know what I'm saying? And then aside from that, like we've been talking about praying and asking God, wait, God, is that what you created me for? Like, what did you create? Like, where should my desires even lie? Like, what am I supposed to be doing with this life of mine? And I think all of it all goes together. It's holistic. It's a holistic lifestyle. You get what I'm saying? Because I think we want to look at it as fragments, and finances don't got nothing to do with God. He don't got nothing to do with finances, or he don't got nothing to do with this or that. You want to segment everything, but this is all integrated. It all goes together. And I really think that we really have to definitely go internal with ourselves to really fully understand who we are. You know what I'm saying? What things guide us. And then from there, just kind of, it's so many different types of things that I'm actually just want to kind of get a transcript of this live, because I think that it gives so much blueprint to people to be able to implement and put into practice. And so I love this. I love this. And to the young lady who did say that she's trying to get out of the situation, what she said about self-worth and making a list of all of your skill sets. It's hard for us. It's like if you ask a person, what do you like to do or what are you good at? It's like, I don't know. It's like, or, you know, like people don't know. If you don't know what your skill sets are, what you like to do, what your goals are, if you don't know these things, that's the perfect opportunity to be like, I need to get very in tune with self. That's a true indicator that me and self, we ain't in a relationship how we need to be, you know? So I just say, like, do that work, get in relationship with self, get in relationship above all with God, because he can help to like bring full circle that relationship with self. And then as you get better in these areas, it's levels to it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you done level 1 accomplished, mission accomplished, go to level 2 and just keep building on the blocks or whatever, so you can get a life that you deserve to live, that we all deserve to live. So I love this, y'all. I could go on.
We was like, amen.
Amen.
And I'll just
Amen.
add to that too. Touch with the boss mama, because clearly sis know what she doing. So how can people reach you and get in touch with you and work with you?
So my main platform is here at Money Boss Mama. You can contact me. I'm always going through my DMs. I am also on YouTube at Diana Marie, Dyana Marie. So I have a community of women on there where I can actually take my time, long form content. But on my page, there's also a link where you can send me an email if you don't want to DM me, and I can get back to you that way as well.
Yes, reach out to her. The wisdom that you have, sis, is just, Mia, you muted.
No, my bad, y'all. I should have moved my head. I was talking to somebody else. Sorry.
No, but the wisdom that you have, sis, is so dynamic, yo. Like, for real. And people, if you are a woman, gentleman, do you work with men also?
No, I do not. But I have men in my community, so they're more than welcome.
Yes. So women, if you need help with your finances or even understanding where to start, reach out to our good sis here, because she is on point and can really help you start from the beginning, not just looking at stocks, bonds, and mutual funds, but really start from the beginning of the psychological journey that you need to take. So
thank you. For sure. And on that last part about men, I want people to understand too, because later this week we are going to talk about entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about some taxes. Sorry guys, I tapped something and something happened. But we're going to talk about a lot of different things. But I do want to try to understand, she is building a community based off of her experiences. She's able to take her experiences and be able to share with the world, and not being, you know, a man, like, not to say that these principles can't be applied, because I think that you can always squeeze wisdom out of any situation, right? So I'm sure that like what she's telling you to do, you can apply them, but it may not feel like, for a man, you know, just because it's just some differences there, maybe like, that don't feel natural to me, right? So it could be something that just you don't feel like it's your jam. But I would definitely say, like she said, tap into it. If you find some things that you can apply, like, then cool. But even this platform, I think somebody said in there, is this platform only for women? It's not, but we're all women that's on this journey and experiencing life as women. And it's certain things that's unique to how men, like how they make money. Like, I'm sure if you was to get on something with 4 men that's talking about finance, it's gonna sound totally different. It's gonna sound like, you better go get that money. You better like, it's gonna sound real. Like, for me, it'll probably be intimidating. Like, I don't know if I can hustle to 3 a.m. in the morning. I don't have it in my blood. I just can't work and not sleep. I can't go after 3 hours of sleep. That's kind of like a man's way of probably doing things, right? For us, we gonna sleep. We gonna get our Starbucks. We gonna shop. We gonna get our facials. We gonna do it on a budget. We gonna get our minds together. Like, it's just different. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to put that out there to me, and I don't be wanting y'all to say, like, they got a sexist thing going on. It ain't nothing to do with that. This is like experiences lined up with experiences, you know, and just we trying to share with some other people who like, yeah, that's kind of similar to me in my life. So y'all, this has been wonderful and great. I have enjoyed every piece of it. Don't even want to shut it down, but it got to get shut down. So what we about to do is go into meditation, y'all. We about to meditate over everything that our ears have heard, our eyes have seen, guys. And we about to really manifest, put some affirmations out there and manifest like just prosperity, you know, and not just from being from a money standpoint, but prosperous in our mindset, prosperous in our lives and everything, right? And just being better stewards of our finances, making very responsible decisions and acknowledging like, man, we got to do diligence. We got to sit down and take the time to do the work, right? Things aren't just gonna fly in our finger like, oh my God. Sometimes maybe it will happen, but on the norm, like on the day to day, we got to do some planning. And so we're just gonna manifest over those things, and then we're gonna pray and ask God to. We're gonna seal it. We're gonna seal it. We're gonna put some I don't know, some sealing on it.
Jamia, can you share what you said earlier, or is that not for today, or is that just for later?
No, I can't. I meant to, but I was just going with the flow.
Okay, we'll do it another day.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, we got this whole week. I'll make sure I do, because I got notes, y'all. I've been taking notes because I really Aaron.
It's good. We can't rush through it. It's good, Nia. So you got to spend time on that thing.
We got to spend time. Yes, I am. So y'all just catch the live the rest of this week for sure, because it's going to be so many tips, tools, support, some gems, some jewels that you come with your, listen, y'all see this? These are my notes, just FYI. So, and I'm saying this because, you know, I'm not hosting these lives, because I want to preach to the choir. It's like, look, I want to sing in the choir too. Give me my note. Give me my note. You want me soprano, alto, or what? What you want me
Solo.
Okay. So I hit a solo note too, but I just want y'all to know with these lives, y'all, and I should have told y'all this a long time ago, come with something to write with, because people are sharing wisdom, knowledge, insight, experience with y'all for the free. This for the free. She said, you gonna have to come and pay for a little bit more. She got to know where that came from. But for the free, it's things that you can be able to write down. Be prepared to like put these things into practice for your life, you know? So yes, come on, just come with something handy just to write down with. But we about to go into meditation, and then we about to go into prayer. And I just really pray that y'all life or y'all day, let me say y'all day is amazing today. Y'all week is amazing. Y'all lives, like, we're trying to garner amazing lives, the lives that God intended for us to live for real, for real. That's what my goal is. Like, we all out here living good, okay? So with that being said, who would like to pray? Raise your hand if you want to pray.
Deference to our guest. Does our guest want to pray today? No pressure if you do not want to.
I can pray.
Say, look, no pressure.
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and guide us in a meditation, and then I'll tap you in to pray, okay? All right, y'all. So we just want to prepare our hearts to meditate on every bit of wisdom we just heard today. So we're going to take some deep breaths. Just spend a second just allowing the things that we heard just to sit on our hearts for just a second, and allow God to reveal to us the spaces in our heart that he wants us to renew or to make over. And part of it is allowing him in us to make over what we can't do on our own. And so I want us to breathe in the wisdom that we heard today, and breathe in the things that God is placing on our heart, actionable steps that we may be able to take, or people around us that may be able to help us on our journeys. And then I want you to breathe out those old habits, those old mindsets, those things that convince us that we need to keep up with the Joneses, or do anything to look or appear better than we are. And we're going to go ahead and close out in prayer.
Dear Heavenly Father, I pray that you renew the minds of everyone on this live. I pray that you help them detach themselves from their flesh so that their spirit can be nourished and grow. I pray that you help them see themselves as you see them, Father, perfect. You have made us perfect in your image. Lord, I pray that you help them to see that they have the provision, the knowledge, the wisdom, the skills to get to their vision, Lord. Please let them not fall victim to their circumstances, Father. Help them to see above and think greater than their emotions so that they can get to the place that you have created for them, Father. Help them see that no weapon formed against them shall prosper, Father, as long as they stay in your path, Father. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Awesome,
That was awesome.
powerful, short, sweet, to the point, but said
Yeah.
everything it needed to say.
Yes.
Oh, Diana, thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you,
on.
ladies. This was an amazing conversation. I thank you all for having me. I had to make it short because I will cry. I'm a crybaby. And
Me too.
I
yeah.
am so, me too, sis, me too. Okay, y'all. Well, it's been real. Tomorrow, this whole week is a week on finance. So if you're a business owner, if you got some taxes to pay, we're gonna have. She was in here too. She said something real good earlier, but the tax CEO, I don't think she's tomorrow. Gotta look at the schedule. But we're gonna have some awesome other powerful, wise women and just people to come on to share their experiences and everything. So y'all, thank you. Have an amazing Monday and see y'all later.
Y'all have a great
Tomorrow.
day.
All right.
Bye.
Goodbye.